welcome to Arnav's World. Today is the fourth episode in the history series. So today we are going to talk about Mesopotamia, one of the first human civilizations. The word Mesopotamia means the land between two rivers in ancient Greek, because it was really between two rivers, which were the Tigris and Euphrates. This region was in between these two rivers of Tigris and Euphrates in modern-day Iraq. The people who lived in these ancient times were known as Mesopotamians. They built the world's first cities more than 5,000 years ago. The first city's name is Uruk, which was in southern Mesopotamia in the south. The first cities were built in Sumer, a region of southern Mesopotamia, and these people were called Sumerians, and it rose to power and turned into an empire, a big empire in Mesopotamia. These Sumerians were later conquered by people from empires in the north. Those are Akkadians, Babylonians and Assyrians, which will be at least one time be an empire. These all were empires. Through these conflicts, the people of Mesopotamia developed the first armies. They invented many of the fundamental features of civilization, such as monarchies and organized religion, etc. And do you know the first war in human history was, guess it, in Mesopotamia? Wow, they must get a prize. But they're too old now. They are not there yet. That's bad. This region was one of the four riverine civilizations where writing was invented. The other three are the Indus Valley civilization in the Indian subcontinent, the Nile River Valley civilization in Egypt, and the Yellow River civilization in China, which were all civilizations in different countries. Now I will explain the timeline of Mesopotamia, how many kingdoms fell and again rose up to power. So the first was 6000 to 4000 BC. The first farmers. They irrigated the fields, built canals to get water, built reservoirs to store water, and they built many more things. Over time, villages grew larger into city-states, small countries which were the size of cities. They are not actually full countries, actually. Some people began to specialize in trade or craft. That means they began to specialize in other jobs, while some people stayed as farmers. Over time, people got more skilled and more jobs were created. By 4500 BC, they had developed the potter's wheel. It is a revolutionary step in human development. It helped make pots and was also a wheel. That means we can use it for cars or bikes, etc. 3300 to 3100 BCE, the first city-states started. Around a dozen city-states emerged in Sumer. Each was governed by a ruler who was called NC, which is kind of a funny name. Yeah. Sumerians developed a writing system, which was cuneiform. It was like putting something on clay, just like that. It was that type. 3000 BCE, Sumerian bronze. Sumerians mixed two soft metals, copper and tin, and created a very strong metal, bronze. But in the soils of Mesopotamia, there were no metals. So these copper and tin got imported from other places, like other countries which were there, other civilizations. These bronze is used to make tools, weapons, pots, sculptures, etc. and many other things. 2325 BCE, the Akkadian Empire. The king Sargon of Akkad conquered all of Sumer and established the Akkadian Empire. And do you know the word Akkad is actually a city? Yeah. The language of Akkadians is related to modern day Arabic and Hebrew. Arabic is in present day all of Middle East and also in Northern Africa, like in Sudan and Saudi Arabia. And Hebrew is in, guess it, Israel, but it is an extant language mostly. 1900 BCE, the Babylonian Empire. The Amorites, who are the people from the western deserts, conquered most of Mesopotamia. That means they came from the place not Mesopotamia but was still in the Middle East, and they came to Mesopotamia and conquered it, and they made Babylonian Empire, which capital is Babylon, and the people there were called Babylonians. 1595 to 1530 BCE, the Hittites and Kassites. Two foreign people, the Hittites and Kassites, invaded Babylonia. They came from the other places like in Georgia or near Russia or anywhere, somewhere near Babylonia. They introduced fast chariots pulled by horses. They were very fast. Once I think they had slow ones. That's why they put them as fast. Okay. The Kassites ruled Babylon for around 500 years, but no one knows how the Hittites went along. 911 to 609 BCE, the Assyrian Empire. The people came from north and conquered Mesopotamia, creating an empire stretching from Egypt to modern day Iran. That means the empire was very big. It stretched from Egypt, I think it is that, and Iran, which is this. Long, very long. They spoke Aramaic, which became the standard language across the Middle East. They spoke this Aramaic language in all of the Middle East then, because this country, this Assyrian Empire, was all of the Middle East, mostly, except Saudi Arabia, which was hot, and this was the desert. Okay, 612 BC, the fall of the Assyrian Empire. They broke apart. They collapsed. The Assyrians were overthrown by Nabopolassar, the ruler of Babylon, the once ruler of Babylon who was thrown away by the Assyrians. Now, because the Assyrians were cruel, rebellion started, and Nabopolassar took advantage of this and started the Babylonian Empire. Babylon became the capital of the second Babylonian Empire. Did you think there was only one? There are two. Next and finally, 539 BCE, the Babylon got conquered. King Cyrus the Great of Persia conquered the Babylonian Empire. Persia was the last Mesopotamian kingdom. And finally in 332 BC, it fell to Alexander the Great. After his death, it became the part of the Great Seleucid Empire, from which again the Ottoman Empire comes, and the rest of history is from there. This is all about the Mesopotamian Empire for today. Bye!